Well, good morning and welcome to another episode of Hook, Line and Sinker. I hope we're all well and I hope we're all bagging a few. Today you join me in Walsall and I'm at the magnificent Mossley Angling Club. You'll probably recognise this video from the big spom off. I come down about 6 months ago and I put 4 of the most popular baiting tools on the market at the time to the test, and I'll give you my unbiased opinion to which one I think you should buy. However, since I've made that video, there has been another baiting tool on the market that's just started to be distributed in the UK. It's from an Italian company and that product is the Spod. Now this is a little bit unique than all the other products that we've used before because it doesn't use clips to secure or deliver its payload out in the swim. It uses a series of magnets which we'll look at a little bit later. We're going to look at the build quality, we're going to have a look at how much bait it holds, we're going to have a look at the most important one, which is the casting and retrieval, and I'm going to put it to the test and let you know at the end of this video what I think about this product and whether you should buy it. Now if you like these type of videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which will be in one of these corners, little red button, click on that, and don't forget to hit that bell icon below, and that will keep you up to date as and when I upload these type of videos. So let's get straight into this test. Let's have a look at the build quality and let's see how this performs. Getting on to the build quality, the first thing you notice when picking up this is how well it feels in the hands. The plastics that are used are quality and it does really feel like it'll last you a very long time. You also notice the lack of clip on the front that the original Spod and the Fox Impact Spod uses, and that's because this uses a series of 24 magnets situated inside the body to secure this during casting and getting your bait out at distance without opening up. There is a clever little flange here with a spring. Now what that does is when you close that up, that flange and the spring puts pressure on these magnets, so when it hits the mark out in the swim, this opens up and delivers your payload at distance. Now it's given the name the Spod because it opens up in 4 different sections. The whole body comes away, and the beauty of this is that you can have different loading options. You can use it as a two-handed operation, so if you're using pellets, go into your bucket, scoop up, close, or if you use this sloppy Spod mix, then again the two-handed operation into the bucket keeps everything clean and keeps your hands clean. And you can also use it as a one-handed operation as well. Just lift up this section and move this door over, then you've got the one-handed operation if you need to use that. So obviously if I'm loading up with boilies, that's what I choose to use, and that's my go-to approach. You'll also see a series of magnets on the base of the body as well, just to give it that extra security. And again, it does feel really good. It does feel quality, and we're going to have a look at how much bait this holds now. It's probably about the same sort of size as the Fox Impact Spod, so I'm guessing it's going to be around about that sort of quantity of bait that are going in there. However, I've got 18 millers today, and unfortunately on the last video I was using 16 millers, but I only had 18 millers in my freezer, so that's what I bought. So it's going to be interesting to see what sort of amount of bait this uses. So let's get to it and let's see how much bait this holds. Part of this test is to see how much bait this Spod holds. It's relatively about the same sort of size as the Dot Spod and the Fox Impact Spod. Both of them was holding approximately 22 to 24 baits. So this being the same sort of size, I'm expecting it to hold the same sort of amount of bait. I've got the 18mm Maxifish boilies today from KEYBAIT Solutions, as these was in my freezer. So let's get this loaded up and see how much bait this holds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now that has exceeded the dot spod. 26, 27, 28, still room, 29, 30. Let's just make sure this door secures as it does. And that is really surprising how much bait that holds. I think having that little door that will open up allows you to fill that chamber up to its maximum capacity, and it is quite a considerable amount more bait than the dot spod, which I held, I think it was around about 24 baits. So 30 baits in there is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to move on to the most important part of this test, which is the casting and retrieval. This is what will make this product, whether it gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm going to clip up to 100 yards, and I'm also going to, once I've done that sort of distance, I'm also going to clip up to 60 yards just to make sure these magnets open up at a shorter range. So let's get on to that. Let's get this onto my spod rod. Let's clip up and let's get this out and see how. Now, on my previous video I got asked quite a few times about the setup I'm using to deliver a spod out at distance. So this time I thought I'll cover it and show you. I'm using a Daiwa emblem reel, which is the spod specific reel, and I've used that for quite a few years. I'm using a 40-pound braid, which is the Coal Valley braid, and I'm using a 40-pound braid because it doesn't wrap up. I don't have any issues with wind knots, and I can go right down to the spider spod, so there is no leaders or any knots that can get wrapped up in the ring guys when you're casting at distance. Now I've had this braid out to about 140 at a push, but I can comfortably cast up to about 120 with this braid, and knowing that I ain't going to have any frap ups, I ain't going to have any wind knots. Obviously it is a nice easier choice than using a thinner diameter of whiplash with a braided leader. The rod itself is a long range spod. Again, I've used this for years, and I'm sure I'll use it for many more years to come. It does everything that it needs and everything that I want it to do. This is a 12-foot version. We also, I think, do a bit longer version, but you know, this will do me for everything that I need to do, and it's matched up to my rods. My rods are 12 foot, this is 12 foot, you know, unless I got some 13-foot rods, then there is no need to upgrade this. That goes down to a large loop, so I can just thread on and off the different baiting spods that I want to use. At the time I usually use the dot spod, as I said before, but at the moment this is doing relatively well. So again, I'm going to put this out now at distance and see how it performs. Well, the first throw went out really well. No issues at all, hit the clip, and obviously, as you can see, it's deposited the bait into the area. So let's give it another couple of more throws and make sure that it opens up every time. The retrieval is really good as the dot spod. So it is looking good for the spider spot. Just see me put this spider spot out at 100 yards range with ease, and it went out there no problem at all. It delivered its payload out into the area, and it's also retrieved without any issues at all. I would say the retrieval is as good as the dot spot, and the casting itself is really good. It goes out there true. We have got a crosswind today from right to left, and it went out true, and it went out no problem at all. Now, to give this spider spot a true test, I've just been round to the treasurer, which is Lee Mincher, and he's given me some spod mix to put into the chamber to cast out. Obviously spod mix is a little bit more lighter than the boilies, so to give it a true test, I'm going to put this out at 100 yards and make sure it works as it should do. So let's do that now, and see if this spod mix goes out as well as the boilies. See how easy that's coming in. It's just gliding over the surface of the lake, and there is no resistance at all. Well, I've had 5 casts out now at 100 yards range. I've now reduced it and halved it, and I'm going to try it out at 60 yards range just to make sure that these magnets open up at that sort of range. Obviously there's more pressure and more force at 100 yards than there is at 60 yards, so just to give it a final test and see how it performs, I'm going to put out a few casts at 60 yards and make sure that it performs as well as it does at 100 yards. So let's get a few casts out and see how it goes. Right, first cast out at 13 wraps, and it has failed to open up, so I'm going to put out another couple of casts and see whether it does open up, and that could have been a one-off. My second cast, it's opened up this time. Let's put a few more casts out there, and just to make sure that it is opening up every time. Cast number 2, it has opened up and it has deposited the bait at the shorter range. One more try just to make sure. Well, that's cast number 3, it's opened up, and just to see what sort of ranges this does, I'm going to unclip the clip at 100 yards and see how far we can push the boundaries of the spider spod and see how far we can get it out. My conclusion of using the spider spod this morning is a positive one. It holds more bait than the dot spod and the fox impact spod. It goes out there, casts well, and it also delivered its payload all but once, which was the shorter rod, and I managed to get this out at 120 yards. Now don't forget, I've got a crosswind as well, and it went out there and retrieved pretty well as well. I'm going to put it up there with the fox impact spod and the dot spod. That is how good it is, and if you can get these cheaper than the other two, I would recommend buying these and getting these in your kit bag, because it does do the job quite well. Now if you would like to win one of these, I'm going to give one away to one of my subscribers. Just put your name down in the details below, and if you are one of my subscribers to my channel, then I will do a draw and will announce it on one of my next vlogs or one of my next reviews. So I hope you've enjoyed this short review of the spider spod. It is a thumbs up from me, and it is well worth a purchase. So for now, bish bash bosh, keep it tosh, wet nets, tight lines. See you on my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and you could win this. Thanks for watching.